Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You're very welcome along. This is episode 6, series 55 of the daily walking podcast that tempts you away from your desk at lunchtime to spend 10 minutes walking in nature. Today I want to talk about courage within chaos, because we have chaos here in the NHS, in England, and some chaos in my life all the time, I think. And courage sometimes is actually just deciding to carry on, make the best of it, and create a bit of structure for the people around you, even when there is no structure. So that's what I want to talk about today. Plus, a voice note from Kiwi Rob overlooking a vineyard in Auckland. Welcome to Walk the Pod.
G'day Rach, it's Rob in New Zealand, talking to you from a bike path in West Auckland. Hopefully it's not too windy. What I can see in front of me is one of the last small family vineyards, so the air is thick with the smell of ripening grapes. They're all covered in netting to try and fend off the birds. And there goes a cyclist. I'm on the way home from visiting my mum in hospital, who's recovering from a small dose of pneumonia, but getting on well. And you know, the topic of courage sort of was apparent in many contexts. Just visiting her today, she's in a rehab ward now. The pneumonia is sorted, and it's just getting some strength back before she can come home. But you see people where, you know, for them courage is attempting to stand or walk a few steps while they're recovering from strokes or whatever. The other sort of courage you see is staff doing amazing work in a system, a bit like your NHS. We've got a public health system that is propped up by superb people doing amazing work in really tough conditions where they could all do with more money, more staff, more resources, which seem to never come. But yeah, it's just sort of puts the everyday trials or everyday challenges of getting up and going to work and dealing with life back into context. It's a beautiful day here. It's supposed to be autumn, but it feels like summer. It's about 25 degrees. Beyond the vineyards, I'm looking up into the Waitakere Ranges, which is a mountain range, I guess, sort of 300 metres high, range of hills behind my home, bush clad, and a Simpsons blue sky with a few white clouds dotted around it. I've enjoyed the series, looking forward to the rest, and I'm about to get back on my bike, go home via one of the last small orchards and grab some apples picked by the people probably this morning, and watch some Formula One from Australia in the evening. So look forward to the rest of your series. Cheers from New Zealand.
Thank you, Rob. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your bike ride and got some apples. Actually, I know you got some apples because you sent me a photograph of said apples, and that photograph will be on the Discord server for those of you on there. And hello to people who've joined Walk the Pod community from Anne Freeland newsletter. It has been a bit of a tumultuous week in the UK with the NHS England quango that runs the NHS being abolished. People in the NHS now are attempting to run the facilities and programmes and departments and services that they provide with no clear indication of what the management is going to be like in the future or what their jobs are in some cases. And it reminds me of some of the things we've been through at work ourselves over the last 12 months or so. Courage to keep the show on the road in chaos is what I want to talk about today, because ultimately that's what leadership is. I think it is providing structure where there is none, and perhaps it makes me think about the armed forces, actually, because I imagine in a war situation that is the ultimate chaos, and as a leader in a war situation, what you have to provide for the people who you are leading is an absolute clarity on what's happening, despite the fact that you definitely don't have any clarity about what's happening. And so, to some extent, that would explain why military leaders are quite scary and quite blunt and brusque and abrupt, because they must leave no indication that they are in any way uncertain about what's happening, despite the fact that they must always be reasonably uncertain about what's happening. And perhaps that's why a lot of the time they go slightly off-piste and make it up as they go along, well beyond the point that they should, just purely in order to provide some clarity for those who serve under them. If this makes you think of anything in particular, a great way to kick off our final week of episodes about courage might be to talk about courage within chaos. So if it makes you think of anything, or if Kiwi Rob's comments about how it can be courageous just to try to take a few steps following a stroke or another health issue make you think of anything, please go to walkthepod.com, leave 90 seconds of your beautiful voice for me, and it can go in the very next show. And you can put photos on the Discord server as well, like the photos of Kiwi Rob's apples. It is not a beautiful day in the park, I have to say. It is rather grey, overcast and a little bit chilly. What can I see directly in front of me? Lots and lots of not quite blooming daffodils. A little tiny dog in a green jacket. Lots of pigeons. Not very many tots in the play park. And a few people sitting on benches, smoking and vaping, as an ambulance rolls past in the background. I can hear the wings of pigeons flapping as they come around me from the left, and a light in the play park over yonder. And the sky is just grey from east to west, north to south, and all the other direction combinations you can think of. It's not wet, but it's colder than it should be. Now that we've had some sun, we want the sun to continue, please. Do not like the fact that it's gone cold again. And the clumps of daffodils are not so much the flowers, but the leaves, which are not quite as jolly. So I don't know what's happened over the last week, but it's all gone wintry again. But as Sam pointed out over the weekend, we are coming towards Ostara now, which means that we've got through the winter. So congratulations to everybody who's in the Northern Hemisphere for having made it through the winter very nearly. Ostara is one of the festivals that celebrates the coming of summer, or at least spring. A fire festival, as I think all festivals are, where you can set fire to something to celebrate it. I think it's on the 23rd and 24th of March. I might be wrong about that. But look it up. And if you don't follow the pagan wheel of the year, get involved. It's much more fun than the traditional Roman 12-month structure. Thank you for walking with me, dear friends. It's been an absolute delight to stretch my legs with you this lunchtime, even though it's been cold. I hope your walk has been a bit warmer than mine. And if you're just starting out with Walk the Pod, perhaps you've come over from the newsletter, or you've found us on your podcast listening app of choice, and you're just getting into walking, bear in mind that it can take a bit to get into the routine and the habit of it. And there is absolutely no harm at all in just having a go, trying to find a place in the day that works for a regular 10-minute walk. But then you suddenly realise that you're benefiting from the 2-hour mood boost that comes from even a short walk. And I hope you'll stick with it. Take care of your beautiful mind, yourselves and each other. And I'll be back with episode 7 tomorrow.